This is John Lewis and Martin Luther King, a good kind of trouble. I don't own the rights to this music, I own the rights to this message. Starbucks and Shorty, early in the morning, all right? They marched 51 miles, all right? The woman that lied about Emmet Till died today. She waited 51 years and he still ain't getting no justice. I marched the 51 miles. I'm not gonna wait the 51 years. I'm a whistleblower on the courts and the corruption in the courts behind the war on drugs, N62528. We talk about Public Accommodations Act, the right to access the court, all right? That's the Department of Justice, Robert Harding. We talk about Mr. Harding, Robert Herr. We talk about Rod Rosenstein, Alan Locks, Sarah Marquette, Eric Holder, Eric Barron. Yeah, the Department of Justice been shielding this corruption for the longest. This is my visitor's pass to Annapolis. All right, that's my visitor's pass to City Hall. And those are the criminal charges against Scott Shellenberger. Just like I said, I'm not Emmet Till, I'm Shorty. I want Scott Shellenberger criminally charged, and I want a public trial so the world can see racism in the 21st century. Shorty, pull your mask up. I'm a copywritten criminal. I was making a documentary about the Democratic Party. I applied for Martin Luther King's job and y'all got mad. Y'all got mad, all right? Like I said, we're gonna occupy the courts, all right? Discovery and request for documents, all right? And I never got that hearing and I never got that discovery. You see that? That's the case number. That's Power 52. Yeah, you know who Power 52 is. That's Ray Lewis and Shorty. We talk about Public Accommodations Act, the right to access the courts. That's the Department of Justice. That's the Department of Justice. That's Scott Shellenberger, all right? All evidence and material, all right? This is in the book, and that's my Department of Justice ID number. That's James Calabrese, all right? And that's the Department of Justice. That's the State Prosecutor's Office. That's Brent Jones, ABC, NBC, CBS. We're going to talk about the role the media plays in misinformation. That's Charles Gibson, World News Tonight. That's Barry Sims, and that's the State's Attorney's Office. It's timed and dated. That's Chief Criminal Investigator, the Internal Revenue Service. I need a federal and state audit. I need a federal and state audit. Brooke Learman, yeah. That's my shit right there. I'm a whistleblower on the courts and the fraud in the courts. All right? And that's the State's Attorney's Office. That's the Department of Justice. And know who he is. Block Party gets bigger and better. That's Shorty. That's Fox 45 and Stephen Janis, whistleblower, 2014. That's Aisha Khan, all right? And Aisha Khan owed me like $1,500. I was her campaign manager. You got campaign financing violations by Aisha Khan and other people in the Democratic Party. Y'all going after Mosby? Well, I got 52 that y'all need to go after. I used to work for Governor Schaefer. Governor Schaefer taught me about money, following the money. You know what I'm saying? And I followed the money, and I followed it in the courts. See who that is, right? That's Scott Shellenberger. That's Mr. Hardin from the Department of Justice. And those are the criminal charges I filed before I got locked up in 2010. The paperwork I gave Doug Gansler. Like I said, y'all talking about Emmet Till? No, I'm not going to wait 51 years for justice. I want justice now. Brooke Learman, I need an audit. Just like I said, a federal and a state audit. Corey McRae, Bill Ferguson, Governor Ehrlich, the Baltimore Sun, the Washington Post. Yeah, I took your card. And if you go to Diana Suggs, she got a Jailhouse Diary. The Baltimore Sun had this. I went home on vacation and came back on probation. Kai Jackson, Mary Bubala, Vic Carter. You see that? That's Rod Rosenstein from the Department of Justice. That's Tapo Hall from the Criminal Division of the Civil Rights. You see that? Dear U.S. Attorney, I am writing on behalf of Dwayne Shorty Davis. That's Johnny Oleski asking for an investigation. Johnny Oleski asking for an investigation. And that investigation is going to go to about this, the corruption in your courts. WMAR got this. See that? Department of Law, George Nielsen, y'all got that. January 2011, long before I got locked up. Congressman Cummings, Senator Hardin, Sheriff Fisher, Snowden, Mr. McGee, Judge Bell, time to tell the truth. We're going to have all this in front of the people. Like I said, Public Accommodations Act. I get a trial. I get a court date. That's Barbara Mikulski and WJZ. Show you how long you've been doing this. O'Malley appoints 9 judges, including Senate leader's son. That's President Trump. That's the Baltimore Sun. Like I said, this is evidence against the courts and the corruption in the courts. That's my visitor's pass to the Department of Justice. Go to the Department of Justice, they got that. They had it since 2014. Brown Omen. Now Brown is the Attorney General. You got to address this. That's Ozzie Newsome from the Ravens and the Baltimore Sun. That's Jill P. Carter, the Baltimore Sun. That's the Baltimore Sun. All right, like I said, that's President Trump. You sending President Trump to court, I want to go to court too. Like I said, that's Ray Lewis and Shorty. Ray Lewis and Shorty. That's Julie Sharper, the Baltimore Sun. That's the Baltimore City Council. All right, human rights violations, constitutional rights violations. All right, public hearing and an audit. You see that? I'm talking about Governor O'Malley's money and the money you make off the prison industry. You're talking about Scott Shellenberger. Like I said, I'm not going to wait 50 years for my justice. I want my justice now. Supreme Court, yeah, that's where we're going. The new face of old Jim Crow. Miss Stephanie Rollins Blake got that. Like I said, we're going to the Department of Justice. I put it in a book. Charles Gibson. You're showing the role the media plays in misinformation. That's the FBI file. All right? And that's Governor O'Malley, Lieutenant Governor Anthony Brown's Sweet 100. And it ain't going to get no sweeter than this. It's a Rob Fix production, a movie about Baltimore. That's my Community Verizon Award. All right? Community Innovator. And this is your courts and your corruption in your courts. White supremacy. Like I said, I put it in a book. And I'm getting ready to get it published. Shutterfly. I'm getting ready to do a podcast all about Baltimore. I'm getting ready to do a podcast about Martin Luther King. The podcast can be called The Good Kind of Trouble. The podcast is going to be called Baltimore Rewired, The Money Behind the Machine. I'm getting ready to open y'all up in the name of Martin Luther King, keeping the dream alive.